The other thing I wanted to do today is introduce our attorney, Gary Birnbaum. He's an attorney with the law firm Amerischool Weeks. He's also the Associate Dean of the ASU School of Law. So before I turn it over to him, I wanted to see if there were any more questions for me.
Nope. Bring him on.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Brett. Good afternoon, Mayor, members of the council. I promise not to take as much time as everybody fears when a lawyer steps to the podium. There are only two additional points that I would like to make to the council. The first is that we are dealing here with what people sometimes call a public-private partnership. It's a bit of a misnomer. There are no partnerships between governments and private parties in Arizona, but it's a term that people use in the development field for what is basically a win-win situation. It's a structured deal that allows the developer to obtain some benefits and the municipality to obtain some benefits. So the first thing I want to point out to you is just how common these types of incentivized agreements or development agreements are. And the easiest way to do it without discussing any of them is just to give you an idea of some of the projects that have been undertaken over the last 3 or 5 or 7 or even 10 years in the state of Arizona. So let me give them to you very quickly by municipality so you can get a feel for just how broad the penetration of this type of deal has been throughout the state. They include Santan Marketplace, which is a regional mall and power center in Gilbert, Arizona. They include the Coolidge Town Center, which has not been built yet, but has a development agreement in place approved by the Coolidge Town Council. The Casa Grande Promenade, which some of you have seen if you drive to Tucson, sits on the corner of Florence Boulevard and Interstate 10. The Queen Creek Marketplace, which is a Walmart-anchored center in Queen Creek, Arizona. Estrella Falls, which is a regional shopping center and other uses in Goodyear, Arizona, that's about to begin construction but has not yet, but the agreement has been approved. The Wave Yard in Mesa, which may or may not ever get built, but it's an amusement, water-related amusement park, the largest in the country of its type. Cityscape, which is in downtown Phoenix, which is the Red Project. Yuma Palms, which is a large shopping center just off the freeway in Yuma. The second phase of the Scottsdale Waterfront, which many of you know is the state's first Nordstrom store. Chandler Mall and all of the development around Chandler Mall, Tempe Marketplace in Tempe, a new project not yet out of the ground called Daybreak at Picacho in the city of Eloy, and ultimately we hope the development of the Mesa Proving Grounds with a Peabody Hotel, golf courses, etc. That's just a quick run-through of projects over the last few years, and there are many, many others that are the result of public-private partnerships. And with respect to those, let me add one thing that I know the city staff and the city attorney are very proud of. Every one of those deals involved some type of incentive to the developer where sales taxes or property taxes or bed taxes are utilized to help make the project take place. In this case, in the shops at Prescott Gateway, none of those revenues are being utilized. The city's role is narrower than it is in any one of the 15 projects that I just mentioned. Now, my second point is, so why are we here? Why is the city involved at all in this project? This has become a very common problem, question, issue, and opportunity in Arizona, particularly during the years where our economy has not, what's a good word, been flourishing. Is that fair? This project is, for a development company, small. It is moderately speculative in the sense that while Trader Joe's is wonderful, They're the only tenant currently committed to the project. In addition to that, we hope at the end of a very bad market, but not yet at the beginning of a very good market. And this project, if RED had to do it alone, RED and its affiliates, would require approximately $2 to $2.2 million up front in cash just to tie up the land. You'll remember last week when Mr. Herron spoke to you, he talked about resource allocation. The problem with a project of this size at this time is it most likely would not get built, absent the type of public-private partnership that we've negotiated with the city staff and that we hope you'll approve tonight. So why does RED want to do this deal? Well, it is a Trader Joe's center. It is an area RED would like to expand to. It is a structured deal that now allows RED to undertake the project without financing $2 million up front for the land acquisition. And that, in turn, allows a reasonable rate of return for the city and for RED to pay on the land, which in turn allows a reasonable rate to be charged to Trader Joe's. It's all pieces of the puzzle that fit together. And other than the finances, what does the city get out of it? Well, you get a major national developer with its reputation, with its relationships with Trader Joe's, with its relationship with the landowner, that is ready to go on the project, that has financing arranged for the improvements on the project, all of which will immediately improve the value of the city's land and answer any question anybody may have about the security, if you will, for the city's investment. In the economy we're in today, both in the retail industry and generally in the United States, this is exactly the type of project that can be built. If you look around Arizona today and look for projects that don't have public-private partnerships, you'll be very hard-pressed to find one, certainly in the retail market. So I end my comments, if I may, with a very brief story that I think I've told to other councils, but sometimes people become fixated on positions they've adopted before or on philosophic concerns about why is the city doing this type of public-private partnership. So I hope this story is not totally apocryphal, but here it is. It goes back to the 1960s when Everett Dirksen, Senator of Illinois, all of you look like you're almost my age. You probably remember Senator Dirksen. And he went down to the Senate one morning and he was asked to vote on a military appropriations bill of, let's say, $60 million. And the senator stood up on the floor, made his speech against it, and voted no on the bill. At lunchtime, President Johnson took him to the woodshed, if you will, and convinced him that his vote was not well taken. So he came back in the afternoon, and now the $60 million had inflated to $80 million, and Senator Dirksen voted for it. A reporter, purportedly, allegedly, from Chicago, grabbed the senator as he was leaving the room, and the young man said to him, "Senator, how could you vote no on 60 in the morning and yes on 80 in the afternoon?" And he looked at the young man and he said, "Young man, I am a man of rigid principles, and first among those principles is flexibility."